stage 65 is the final stage of the build, and this is where you will complete the model. To start off with, if you haven't yet screwed in these type II screws into the rear lights and rear bumpers, then you can do this now. This will be in the event that you tape these parts on in the last stage. The cabin floor is installed next. This just turns over and lowers into place on the body shell. Just drop it into place. You may have to push this one tab in slightly to make sure it drops down like this, and then make sure that the 6 holes line up properly. There's 2 there, there's 2 at the rear, there, these 2, and there's also 2 down by these doorposts down inside here. And you can secure all those with type DD screws. With the cabin floor secured in place, turn the body shell back over again, and you're going to just fit this radiator line in to the small hole that's down inside the engine compartment. This one's already installed, so just take some tweezers to the end and feed the line down through the small hole. Next, with the chassis assembly on your workbench, take the body shell and then lower that down carefully over the chassis, making sure that the engine comes through the engine compartment. It should lower down onto the fitting posts. You can then put the body, the engine hood strap back in, close the hood down, and then carefully turn over the assembly, holding it in place as you turn. And then you can check that the fitting holes on the underside are all lined up with the posts in the body shell. Start by fitting 2 type CC screws into these 2 holes at the front of the chassis. You don't need to fully tighten these screws, just leave them slightly loose so they can be repositioned later when you do the rest of the body shell screws. Take frame support B and fit it over these 2 holes in the chassis frame here, and line it up with the holes, and then secure that with 2 type CC screws. You can then fit chassis frame support A over these 2 holes in the chassis as well, and then secure that with 2 more type CC screws. There are 2 chassis screw holes under the rear wheel arches, so you need to remove both rear wheels with the nut wrench before you can get access to these screw holes. With both of the rear wheels removed, you can fit a type DD screw into the hole in each wheel arch. You can then fit 2 more type DD screws into these 2 holes in the rear of the chassis. Just drop the screws into place and then screw them in. And then you can fit 2 further type DD screws into these 2 holes on the chassis here. And when they're done, you can then reattach the 2 rear wheels. Next, fit the front valance from stage 62. This just fits over the the two posts in the body shell, and it joins to these two posts on the valance. So just lower that into position like this, and then secure that with two type MM screws into these two holes. You then cover the holes with these two hole covers, and they just press in to the gaps in the valance. At the rear of the car you can then fit the two rear valance parts, and they just push fit into these holes in the underbody. Just locate them into the holes and then just press them into place. Next, with the bonnet open, you're going to be securing this ignition coil into this hole here in the engine compartment. It's quite a large hole, and there's a large pin on the bottom of the ignition coil. So just turn that into place and then just push fit it. And that's how it should look when it's in place. Then take the hose connector for the radiator and the piece of radiator hose pipe, both from stage 39, and you're going to secure the hose pipe onto the connector. Just fit that on there. I've put a bit of glue on mine because it was very loose, but if yours is tight enough you can just leave it without any glue, and that's how it should look. This hose piece will then be fitting in between the end of the heater hose here and the hole in the radiator here. So you may need to move the heater hose slightly to get this into place. And that's how it should look when it's in. The other end of the hood stay is then attached, and this fits into the small tab on the inside of the bonnet, and it fits on the outside of the tab. So you need to bring the bonnet in slightly and then secure that with a type JJ screw, also from the outside. You need to screw this in so that it's not too tight, so the bonnet can still move. When the bonnet catch is fitted, the bonnet should stay open until you lift the strut like this, and then it should close. And then on reopening, it should stay up again. The wing mirrors are fitted next, and you'll notice there's a clear film over the glass of the mirror. To remove this, you need to put some masking tape over the mirror, press it down quite firmly, and then peel off slowly. And it should peel off the film as well to reveal the mirror inside, like this. Once you've done that, you can just push fit the mirrors into position. Do that for both sides. This one's already had the film taken off. the two hubcaps that say right side on them and fit these to the right of the car, and they just push over the wheel nuts with a magnet like this and like this, and then do the same for the left side. Take the rear number plate bracket, and you're going to be sticking on the double-sided tape to the face of the plate, and then just peel off the other surface. The posts on the rear of the plate are angled slightly, so you need to know which is the top and bottom, but the posts face towards the top of the plate to make sure you get the number plate the right way around. So just take the plate and just fit that over the double-sided tape and press down. You can then push the plate onto the rear of the car. And it just fits in like this. The final part of the model is the front number plate, and that just push fits onto the front grille. There's just two holes on the lower rail of the front grille. That just pushes into place like this, and that should look like that when complete. And that completes the build of the Toyota 2000 GT. With all the handling during the build, you'll need to polish the car thoroughly, and there's a polishing guide at the ModelSpace website. This will get all the fingerprints and improve the paintwork. Also, to protect the car, there is an optional display case which can also be seen at the ModelSpace website.